Alright guys, welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. This is Ali Plays. And today we're going to be doing a list. So I haven't done one of these in a long time. So we're going to be doing the top 10 epic champions. Let's not do top 10. We're going to do the 10 epic champions that are completely viable unbooked. So you don't have to use any books on these champions. And they're able to do their job. So obviously, most champions are good, are better booked. But some champions actually need books more than others. Such as Steel Skull. Steel Skull, this guy is actually almost completely useless without books. That's just an example. So make sure you guys use your discretion. So the first champion I want to talk about is Juliana. So Juliana is great. I do not use her anymore, but for a long time she was my main poison champion for clan boss. And then she was consistently dealing up to 15 million damage on Nightmare CB for me, which was pretty good. I think it was pretty hard for a lot of people to get her to do that much damage, but I managed to do it, so that was good. Since her chances of placing HP burn and poison, like if you look at it, this is her HP burn. This is her HP burn. She has a 75% chance of placing it. Since it's already high, 75% is already high. You don't need to use books on it. Upgrading her poison ability does not even help at all. So mostly she just increases her damage if you upgrade her books. But that is not necessary for clan boss because most of the damage is going to be coming from poisons. So yeah, I never use any books on her and she's still putting in the work. So the only reason I do not use her anymore is because I run a counterattack team. So her basic attack, she actually fills her turn meter by 10% when she crits. So she does it 20% for each critical hit. So if you max out her crits 100%, she's going to be boosting her turn meter by 20%, which messes up counterattack teams. So that's the reason why I don't use her anymore, but she was for a long time my main poisoner. And I also pulled Steel Skull, so Steel Skull did replace her. But yeah, she's a good champion, so definitely work on Juliana if you have her. Don't worry if you don't have any skill books. So number 2 is a Coldbrawler. So this champion is probably the best epic poisoner in the game. And he's the only champion that gets worse when booked. So let's take a look at the skills, and I'll explain why that is. So look at his basic attack. His basic attack is good. It's only going to increase his poison chance by 10% if you max him out. So it's going to be a 60% chance. So he doesn't need books. I mean, if you can get this to... if you max out the books, if you want, you can go ahead, but I would highly advise not doing so. So what messes him up is this cooldown -1 on Curse Eater. So he does not need this damage. So all this damage is useless because most people just use him for clan boss or Dragon's Lair or Ice Golem's Peak, places like that. So the reason being, this ability is a 4-turn cooldown. And every single turn, he actually places poison on himself. So he plays a 2.5% poison debuff on himself for 4 turns at the start of each turn. So that's, again, keep that in mind, 4 turns. This is a 4-turn cooldown, but if you max it out, it's going to turn to a 3-turn cooldown. So if he's under 4 or more debuffs, he heals himself by 30% of the damage inflicted. So he's going to keep doing that. Yeah, so he's going to keep doing that. So it's going to be 4 turns. He plays 4 turns of poison on himself, so he can place 4 of those on him. So he's going to keep, if he's on auto, he's going to keep using this ability when he's under 3 or more debuffs. So he's going to be using only on this part. If this champion's under 3 or more debuffs, his attack is always critical. So he's just going to crit. So you're never going to be able to reach the threshold of healing yourself or granting an extra turn. So that's the reason why he actually gets worse when he is booked. You guys actually check out my guide on a Coldbrawler that I've done. I've shown off in Clan Boss. He was really, really good. Number 3 is Lightsworn. So Lightsworn is cool. He does many things like triple hits, attack down, revive on death, and we can't forget that he actually has defense up as well with that revive on death. So it is arguable that he is viable without books. That's why I'm making my argument. Unless you're actually running him on an unkillable team on Ultra Nightmare CB. But since that is getting patched, I would highly advise saving your epic books since he does a great job without them. I mean, it's nice to have a cooldown reduction on his A3, but that's just a luxury. So if you look at it, he does more damage. He's a defense-based champion. So he is kind of a brawler, so he doesn't die easily. So this extra damage doesn't really help. And brutality just decreases the cooldown by 1. I think it's okay because most people use attack down champions if they have attack down under A1. So he has on his A2, so most people won't even use him for that purpose. And revive on death is a 5-turn cooldown. He's just going to reduce it to 4 turns. You can argue that if you can use 1 book on him and you can get this down, that would be perfect, and you don't have to use any more books on him. So remember to use your discretion if you guys want to book them or not, but I'm just making the case of why you should not book them. And number 4, we have Ultimate Galek. So Ultimate Galek, like most champions, actually gets better when he's fully booked. And the cool thing about him is that he was designed to help people clear Spiders 20. I actually did a video on him if you guys want to check it out. I've done a testing video where I tested him out Spiders 20, and then I've done a guide. I'll actually do an updated guide on him because I actually switched out all of his masteries. I switched out his masteries and his artifacts just to make him solely a Spiders Den champion. Since he will probably only be using that aspect of the game, you know, Spiders 20, it's great news that he can fulfill that HP burn role without using any books on him. I actually did use books on him because I wanted to get that cooldown reduction on his burning rage ability, because this is the one that does HP burn, and that's the only reason why he needs it, in my opinion, because you can reduce the cooldown by 2, make it 4. But a lot of people have actually cleared Spiders Den without using any books on him. So yeah, my argument is that he's only using Spiders Den 20. Most people use him there, so I wouldn't waste any books on him if you have a team that can help him clear it without wasting books. So yeah, this guy is another reason why we should love that collaboration with Raid and Amazon Prime. So since we're already here, next guy is Vrask, number 5. So Vrask is a boss and possibly the best healer in the game, in my opinion. What makes him really good is his basic attack and his passive. So his cannibalism passive actually has no room for upgrade. So he heals all allies by 10% of his max HP when he inflicts a critical hit. So build him 100% crit, and you guys got this guy healing your whole team. And what's great about it is that he heals based on his max HP. So just build him a whole bunch of HP, 100% crit rate, and you're all set to go. And he attacks when an enemy fills his champion's turn by 20% if the attack is critical. So again, no nothing else here, just damage increases. Same with this. This ability is actually bad. I'd rather if he just had an A1 and passive. It would make him pretty beast. So yeah, you don't use any books on Vrask. Vrask is completely viable without books. Yeah, so as I said, he's a crazy healer that if you put him on your squad, he can single-handedly keep your team's health topped up. So not too much else to say about this guy. We're going to move on to number 6. So what makes Allure really great is her A1 ability. She randomly hits 3 times, and each hit can reduce the target's turn meter. So if you look at it right here, and decrease the target's turn meter by 25% on each critical hit. So you got to build it with 100% crit rate. That's about it. You just want her for the triple hit and the decreased turn meter. Get her with some accuracy. Yeah, so as you can see, she's a great champion to have for Fire Knight's Castle. And since booking her A1 does not increase the debuff chance, if you look at it, it's just damage. Save your books and look out for a guide on Allure pretty soon, so I will be doing a guide on her. Look at her other abilities. She has an AoE that attacks twice. You don't need any of these upgrades. Same with this ability, Hellish Blaze, just damage plus 5% per upgrade, so it's a waste of books. So that's actually good for us though. If it's a waste of books, it's good for us. We can save our epic skill books. So yeah, I will be doing a guide on her. Look out for that again pretty soon. And we're going to stay in the Demon Spawn faction and go look at Infernal Baroness. So Infernal Baroness doesn't need any books. This right here does not increase her healing, which is the most important part of this ability right here. She's not here to do damage. This only increases her damage, so there's no point in doing it. Yeah, so if you look at the rest of her kit, AoE right here, you can place decreased attack on all enemies for 2 turns. So again, people only use decreased attack if it's on an A1 mostly. So there's no point of decreasing the cooldown of this. And it's already a pretty high chance. It's already at 50%. And the Perfect Veil one, again, nobody likes Perfect Veil, so we're not even going to touch that. So Infernal Baroness does not need any books. And we're going to go on to the Undead Horde, where we got 2 champions here that do not need any books. So we're going to talk about Gorgorab first. So this guy used to be one of the most prevalent arena champions in the game. He was actually used as an elite spot, or if you guys want to call it aura skill, I like calling it lead. What's cool about him is he does not need any books. Again, this is what this list is about. He does not need any books to shine, and booking him only makes him slightly better. So don't be afraid to work on the great Gorgorab, especially if you do not have any books. So look at his abilities right here. Just increases debuff chance. People don't really build Gorgorab's loss of accuracy. So this right here has a 50% chance of removing 1 random buff. That is just a bonus if you look at it that way. Same with research. He fills the turn meter, right? It's only going to reduce the cooldown. That is actually good, but most of the arena fights don't last that long, so you're going to wait 3 turns. And revive any dead allies with 25% HP. The cooldown -1 is nice to have. The heals are not, it's not that big, so it's not even much difference. So save your skills on Gorgorab, completely viable. I was actually using him for a long time without any books on him. And we're going to move on to Seeker. Same with Seeker. I used him for a long time without any books. It's because his only role is to make your team fast and maybe place a provoke here and there with his basic attack. So he's completely fine without using any skill books. So save your books for a champion that desperately needs them to shine, as I said before, such as Steel Skull. And books do not help his kit too much. And again, arena fights do not last that long to warrant a cooldown reduction on his turn meter boost. And this requires way too many books. And either way, people do not build a lot of accuracy on Seeker. They just try to make him as fast as possible. So if he actually does land provoke with his basic attack, just icing on the cake. And we got one more champion that we want to discuss that does not need book. Head over to Night Reverend where we got Whisper. So another Amazon Prime champion. So she is completely viable without using any books on her. Since most builds actually build her with a Relentless set. So she gets many turns, and with each turn she takes, her skills will be off cooldown. So books are great to have on her, but she is also great without them. So if you look at her ability, she just increases her chance of placing Weaken. But with Whisper, you actually want another champion to place that Weaken. So that is not an issue there. She does more damage with her Charge Assault, cooldown -1. So again, good to have, but not, it's a luxury. Like I would actually love to have damage plus 30% on my Whisper, but she takes a lot of turns anyways. And her passive ability does not need any books. So yeah, another champion that does not need books. I will try to do a list. If you guys want to see a list for legendary champions that do not need books, let me know that in the comment section. And if you guys found this video helpful or entertaining anyway, make sure you guys drop a like. And if you guys are new to the channel and you like what you see, then consider subscribing. I make great Shadow Legends content. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.